Welcome to Being Curious podcast show, proudly supported by Moss Skin, a UK-based skincare line infused with sea moss. Good morning, Matty. Thank you for agreeing to being on my podcast, Being Curious. And it was really lovely how I got to initially speak to you, because I interviewed my friend Jennifer, who, when we was talking about who should I speak to next, your name came up. So I'm really grateful that you've given me some of your time just to kind of talk about your life in the way that you want to. Matty.
Can I just say good morning to you also? Sorry for cutting you, Cornetta, but literally I listened to the podcast with yourself and with Jennifer yesterday, and my brother, who's sort of like my mentor, he's like my younger brother, but he's like my older brother, you know, so I can always go to him for sort of like advice, and he listened to it and said, Matty, yes, it's amazing, it sounds very professional, jump on it. So yeah, thanks to Jennifer for recommending me, and thanks to yourself also for taking time out to know a bit more about me.
That is really lovely. I really appreciate that, because it's a new journey. So, Matty, I just would like to know, and I think others would like to know, a bit about yourself. So that kind of initial stuff, you know, that CV stuff. What do you want people to know about you in terms of who you are, what you do?
Yeah. See, it's quite easy because one thing I learned in life is just to tell the truth, really, you know. So realistically, I started off in a Christian sort of background. Mum and dad Jamaican, come over here for a better life for themselves and for the children. 5 sisters. I was very in touch with my feminine side. You know, I always said to mum, what a brother, but obviously, you know, it doesn't always work that way. And so yeah, I learned from a very young age discipline, how to cook, clean, iron, wash, all of that, you know, and even how to plait hair. Imagine that. But yeah, so grew up with lovely. Mum and dad, yeah, amazing. Still been married now 53 years, and they just want the best for their kids. So I was not allowed to go to certain parties. I wasn't allowed to date certain girls, and I thought like mum and dad were being cruel at the time. I thought, why? But then as you grow older, you realise they're trying to protect their children. Come on. So my brother came later on in life when I was about 18. So all in all, mum and dad, 5 sisters, brother. Okay, cool. From that, school was very good. Had no drama. Secondary school, very good. And then went on to do a BTEC GMVQ in graphic design at Amersham and Wickham College. And then from there, I thought I was a big man. I was 18, yes, mum and dad, I'm done. You know, like that. So I sort of started to party, you know. So I lived that sort of party lifestyle. When I say party, I mean like, I'm 18 now, I've got my car, I've worked hard, you know. So I'm going out with the boys and the girls in the weekend, these parties that I wasn't allowed to go to now, I'm suddenly going to. And, you know, we can get more in depth about all that, but this is just like a general. So yeah,
there's a couple of questions I would love to ask. Where are you in the birth order of your family? So you say 5 sisters and you've got a brother.
Yeah. All right. So you got yeah. Can I mention names? Doesn't matter. So I just go by initials. So F is first. Then it was C, then it was D, then it's me, so I'm 4. And then you got, 4th, yeah. And then you got.
So are you kind of like the first boy and kind of in the middle as well? So what did that feel like growing up, being in that position in your family?
I never really thought of it growing up because, you know, didn't think of that. Positioning to us, well, to me, didn't mean nothing. Obviously being the first boy, it meant a lot for dad, meant a lot for mum, you know. So I was always taught to by dad to look after his sisters, you know, protect them, never put your hand on women, which is something I stand to this day, you know. If you get a woman that's another topic, but I'm just saying that's how dad taught me, you know. So I was always very protective over my sisters, you know, when I had boyfriends. You know, I'm the little whippersnapper, and then like my oldest sister, like what am I? I'm 47. So at the time she's like 14 years older than me, and I'm trying to squirt to these big guys. He would have stepped to me, but it's just the fact that dad had taught me that, you know. So yeah, I've always been a protector. The positioning didn't mean nothing. But then as I've got older, I would say that mum and dad, especially dad now, he's looking to me to sort of like, you know, we are all promised one thing in life, and that is death. So we sort of looking to me to sort of be that continua of the male sort of dominance, you know? If that
So
makes
it's
sense.
interesting, isn't it? Although you're one of the youngest or in the middle of the family pack, as you kind of got older, Dad is kind of saying, son, you're the oldest male, and so there's some responsibility that goes with that. How does that feel?
Yeah. I like it because it makes me feel almost honoured, you know, because some of these mates I grew up around, they're in bad places, you know. There's no sort of you know, sorry, train's going, sorry. Yeah, cool. Right, there's no sort of like family discipline. There's no sort of family order. There's no sort of like family respect. Respect is a big word. And you know, they swear at their mum and dad, and they put their hand on their mum and dad. And mum, oh man, you know what? So answering your question, it gives me, I feel honoured. You know, the fact that they're saying, son, you know, obviously we're going to leave this, and we'd like you to continue this. You know, yeah, it's good. Yeah. It gives you a purpose as well. You
said about kind of, you know, you went off and did graphic art and design, so that sounds like you're really creative. And then as an 18-year-old, even though you came from a Christian background, you kind of came into yourself as a young person. Was that a good or bad thing?
No, it's good. Excuse me, it's a brilliant thing because it's made me who I am today, you know. And I'll never change it for a thing. Never change at all. Creative. I played the trombone in an orchestra. I played at the Royal Albert Hall. Sorry, you know. So it was a big band orchestra. So I love that. I loved. I've always been very into things. You know. Let's say into things. Intrigued. That's a better word. You know. Yeah. So when I was growing up, you know, because there was 5 of us. You know, mum and dad. Didn't always have a lot of money, but they always taught us, you know, to talk proper, leave the house clean, presented, everything iron up, you know, everything neat. You understand? So there's sometimes I see the richer kids, you know, the 1 and 2 family kids, 1 and 2, you know, parent family. Yeah. Do you understand? Like the kids who don't have mum and dad, and maybe just them, and so basically the spoiled kids. Let me get my words out properly.
Do you think that they were spoiled, or is it because in your family household the resources had to stretch a bit more further? What makes you see the other households being rich?
Sorry, no, that's the wrong word. They're not spoiled. Just, you know, I mean, the more affluent families. Let's put it that way. So when I saw them with certain things, all right, you know, then I would want that. So mum would always, you know, put out the best for us. So one of my best friends, he played the saxophone. I thought, wow, look at that. And then, you know, I got involved in playing trombone, and you know, I continued it, and you know, that's what sort of got me involved in playing in outside bands and going to school fetes and having the experience to play at the Royal Albert Hall. But you know, when I went to college, you know, that was amazing for me as well, because, you know, to be fair, I've always liked drawing, you know, and I wanted to be my own graphic designer. I got recognised by KP Foods, you know, who do the hula hoops and stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. No, seriously, I'm not just. But anyway, so I designed a big 3D packet of hula hoops.
It's interesting you said, you know, that you're a graphic designer. I did textiles, and I went to Amersham College to do textiles, and then I went off to you to do it. So I can relate to that kind of creativity. Things.
Oh yeah. See.
So I had to go to the Royal Hall to listen to her play in terms of music.
Oh, so it's amazing.
It feels like in your household, it feels like it was a creative space. You kind of the fact that you are multifaceted at a young age, in the sense that not only can you draw, but also you can play kind of music. How did you get to setting up your organisation, Metamorphosis? What is it about your organisation and your journey?
We just missed out a massive chunk, which is...
What chunk did we miss out?
And that would answer that. Oh my days.
What chunk did we miss?
No, I need to be honest. Well, I am honest, yeah. I'm just being careful in what I divulge.
Yeah.
All right. So, no, because obviously, you know, I've got a reputation now. All right, cool. No, because the police work with me now, and it's fine. It's absolutely fine. All right, yeah, so I think this needs to be heard, you know, because people need to understand, well, not people who are going through life, who have made the wrong choices in life, who are, you know, unfortunate to maybe have bad parenting or, you know, whatever it might be, that, you know, there is light in the tunnel. And my story, because, well, I'm getting a book done on me. Somebody heard my story in the church, and he's a journalist, and he said, right, he goes, I want you to come aboard. He's going to actually do a book about my life story. He said, wow, what he went through and where he was, and that was amazing. So, right, let me answer the question. All right, so from 18, when I become a party boy, so we're going back to 87, so early 80s, you know, 87. Sorry, my bad. Sorry for my maths. I'm so sorry. Early 90s. Let me start again. All right, so I become a party boy. So we're going to clubs in London, Manchester, Liverpool. You know, started taking drugs. I ain't gonna lie. You know, it was part of the scene at the time. So smoking marijuana. You know, all types of we've done a couple E's, MDMA, ecstasy tablets. And at the time, that's when jungle music came out. So it was very prevalent, you know, to go out rave and have a drink, smoke some weed, and you know, obviously take a tablet. Sorry, but with I have an illness, you see, and I didn't realise that until later on. I say about a year ago is when I realised it. Yeah. So anyway, I had it from a young age, and you know, only certain people have this, you know, and I'll get to that as well. It's amazing, you know. Such amazing. All right, so become addicted to ecstasy tablets. Done that for about a year, and then basically I lost my vocals. You know, I'd become mute because I'd taken so many amphetamines, so many uppers that there was a chemical in my head, so everything that was in my head that I wanted to say would not come out through my vocals. All right, so imagine how I am now, how I'm talking, very talkative, very confident. Well, 20, 30 years ago, I was mute for 8 months. And I'll be honest, because people need to hear this, I literally couldn't talk. If I did try and talk, it would come out in a stutter, or just come out all like so discombobulated. It was just unreal, you know. Mum and dad.
Sorry, is it okay if I just interject? Because there is lots of rich content, and you kind of talked about okay, which is normal, wasn't it, in the 90s to go raving, to kind of have fun. You're young, but something kind of changed. Where do you see yourself as being slightly dependent on it? And then what was it like then to have this physical reaction to what you had been doing? Because I have never heard of that. You know, that's, you know, someone becoming kind of mute because of their experience. So that must have been quite frightening.
It was horrible. So I wasn't physical dependent, it was more mental dependent. You know, I'll tell you about the physical. I did have a physical one later on. So basically, I am a recovering addict, okay? It is an actual thing, all right? It is an actual thing. So when I do NA meetings now, and I'm a sponsor, and, you know, I do Zoom meetings for, you know, people recovering and stuff. And I'm talking to guys who've got like 30 years clean and sober. And it starts from a young age. So, you know, I remember being a kid and I was collecting loads of conkers and conkers there just excessively, you know? There were the kid that collects 1 or 2, you know what I mean? But there's those who have an addictive sort of personality disorder, they collect loads. So basically it starts off, see, it's so real. It starts with a spiritual malady, then it goes on to the malicious craving, and then it's like phenomenal malicious obsession, and then phenomenal craving. So it's a threefold illness with an addiction, an addictive person, okay? So when you have an emotion, okay, it's almost like an emotion that you can't control it. That's the spiritual malady. Okay, so when you get happy, I want to go and drink. When you get sad, I want to go drink. When you get angry, I want to go do whatever. Yeah. But so it starts off with this spiritual malady. But I've learned, and through this course that I've done, you can learn to control it. I'm like, you're happy, cool. You ain't got to go and use. I'm like, you're angry. Yeah, okay, cool. Bring yourself down. Do you understand? Like, at the time, you couldn't see it, and then from that, it then goes on to the MO. Yeah, the malicious obsession. So once you've had one, you just keep going back. Yeah, and that's the it is a mental condition. It doesn't mean you're nuts. Yeah, it just means you're different.
I'm listening to you and I'm smiling in terms of understanding, because I trained as an addiction specialist. So and in terms of journey, so I don't understand the way that you've described it, but I understand the processes. I probably look at kind of addiction in a slightly different model, because there's so many. But also I wonder whether or not you've got ADHD or dyslexia, because the way that kind of that compulsive part that you talked about, where when you kind of find hyper focus on something, you really focus on it well, and that kind of is the same centers as the addiction centers. So it's really interesting listening to you and thinking,
Right on.
actually,
You're right.
what's going on there.
Yeah.
And as a young person, did it run in the family, or was you the only person in the family that?
No, it's only me, and I've only been told about. It's funny you say about ADHD, because I've only been told about 4 months ago, from 4 different people because of my business. Said, "Oh, Matty, you have got traits of ADHD, but it's very endearing, or it's a superpower. You can, the way that you're controlling it and using it to advantage." They said, it's not a bad thing, because I've never had to take medication for it. I've never done anything like, fully different. Do you understand? But they can just see little things. So the fact that you said that. The fact that you said then, it's amazing. It's quite, so it must be real then.
It's interesting because I think there's a lot of things here. There's the fact that often young black men and women in particular, and black men in particular, would have been diagnosed. So it would have been missed. And then maybe how easy would it have been to kind of explore in Caribbean families at the time? Not to say that families wouldn't want to support their children, but I don't remember us having the language to kind of find out about additional needs. And usually black boys were being challenged by behavioural issues. So in the schools, when you were fidgeting and couldn't sit still, white boys would probably have been able to be identified, and middle-class white boys, because I think white working-class boys also struggle to kind of be misdiagnosed and have it labelled as behaviour as well.
Yeah, I get that. I do. But because I've never looked at it like that, I just cracked on my life and God's been with me, It's definitely it's not dyslexia, because I love writing, I love grammar, I'm very good at writing, and won a couple of awards for writing short stories, funnily enough. The Coastler Award, Koestler, so I love writing, and I wrote a book actually, and I should have taken it. Jennifer told me, she sent me the link to send it to Channel 4, because they're looking for like young story writers at the time who's writing short stories, and if they really thought the story was going to work, it would have been like a little short film. And I just had not writers, but I just didn't progress to doing that, so yeah.
Did you not progress? Did you progress because, like some people have families around them, and so being creative and being pushed is a lot easier. And if you've got friends around you who are doing similar things, that sometimes could be easier. Or was it yourself not kind of feeling confident within yourself, do you think?
What? As to what? As to
kind of writing and pursuing that side of it.
Oh, no, because at the time I had loads going on. Yeah, so...
okay.
All right, let's go back to... So I was mute for 8 months. I wanted to kill myself, and I was very depressed, anxiety. And then basically, Mum and Dad were praying for me. And literally one day, I think I just had to give it time for the level just to go normal again. And one day I just snapped out of it, It was just amazing. And it was a lovely feeling, So that's when I said, I'm not doing drugs again. So that's when I stopped. But because I've been out of work for a little while, I then got involved in doing crime because I need the money, So then that's when I got addicted to doing crime. So when I say crime, it's all monetary gain, yeah? So selling drugs, robbing, drug dealers, armed robbery on bad guys, because when you take their money and their jewels, they can't then go to the police and say, well, I got nicked for my drugs, I got nicked for my, money. Where do you get money from? It was drug money, So it was all very, planned and, set up. And then, and then I had an addiction to Class A drugs. And then that's when, I sort of went off the rails, fully off the rails. So I had hit some very bad moments on homelessness, like sofa surfing. 1 minute I was up, like one of the top boys, and I was recognised in my area. And then I went to jail for selling drugs and came out and knocking about with the top boys again. And then when I got a hard addiction, that's when, you lose your integrity, your humility. You start losing who you are as a person. And I was sofa surfing, living out of one suitcase, embarrassing the family name. I'll be real, because
what happened then, do you think, when you look back at that part of you, and you went from recreational and in control probably of your drug use, and then you had a point where you weren't in control and you couldn't speak. And with a lot of prayer and just the body coming back into itself, you were able to heal. And then you then went on to kind of, I suppose, going into crime and trying to survive. How, what was it about that appeal? Other people wouldn't think of those things. What was it about that period of your time in your life that, that you felt that you needed to do that? Or did you not think at the time because you were just caught up in it? Because I can imagine you were quite young then as well, in terms of maturity.
Yeah, I'm still young. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I finished college, got my qualification, and then I went for the period of partying and, having girlfriends and, finding myself in the right sort of crowds. And then obviously, lost my voice and then came out of that. And then I said, I ain't doing drugs again, which I didn't, And then, because I'd been a bit, out of work 8 months, my confidence in terms of, job interview and stuff was a bit low. So I thought, right, I need to make money. So I got involved in just the criminal game, and the money was. Listen, I'm not bragging about it, and I'm not gonna glamorize it, but it was good money, and it got you a bit of status at the time. So I thought at the time, yes, I'm with the top boys, top girls, great cars, jewelry, it was all that sort of like gangster's paradise rubbish sort of dream, and then reality hits in, you start going to jail and you start losing friends who you thought were friends and girlfriends who you thought were girlfriends, So this is a great part of my life because all in all, I've done like 6.5 years in prison, and I experienced some rough times in there and good times, to be fair. I'm not glamorizing it, but it made me who I am. And do you understand? It made me more sharper as a person. It made me more tenacious as a person.
What was that turning point? Because I used to work in a prison and for about 4 years, and I would see guys come in and out, and they would say, "Miss, I'm not coming back again." What was the turning point for you to kind of get your life back on track? What was it about that time?
God's plan. Listen, I can only say it's God's plan. How many times I cried? Yes, I'm serious, yeah. There's nothing else. How many times I cried? I'm in jail. I cried on the phone. I cried when I got out. I said, God, what is it? Why do I keep going back to this? I need a way out. I just couldn't find a way out. It was just my way of living at the time. And Mum and Dad, we used to always say, look, God's got a plan. Just take your time. You can't rush it. I say to the kids that I teach now, if you get a ruler and you bend it, you force it, it's going to break. So it's life as well. If you force life, it's going to break. It's not going to go to how you want it to go. So I can't answer that. I used back in the day be like, well, because of my son. Well, no, I hadn't. My son by then was flipping in his 20s. So it went that. And then I say, because I was going to lose my family, but I had really lost about 4 of my sisters, lost in terms of them not talking to me. Do you understand? And I really had to mull over it. And that's when I realized, you know what? It was just God's timing. And when you hear the ending of this story, I laugh because it's just, even I still sometimes I got to pinch myself, at 47 years old, well, this year, I'm living the best life. I'm being real with it. God's given me, a sharp mind. He's given me a great charisma. He's given me the ability to talk to young kids, black kids, white kids, rich, young, poor. I was with the flipping police commissioner, the top guy of Thames Valley Police. Just sat down with him, with his PA, and he's listening to my vision, listening to my business, saying, Mr. Morris. I said, don't call Mr. Morris. I'm Matty. I'm just, I ain't got no title. Even though on my business card it says CEO, because that's just business terms, but when I talk to my clients, when I talk to my colleagues, we're all on the same level. My t-shirt ain't different to your t-shirt. Excuse me, I was even taking, I'm 46, I was taking advice from my head of IT who's 27. Come on, man, I'm so humble, what God has done for me now. I've got that discipline, but I'm so humble and just grateful. Do you understand? There's a lot going on. So let's I've got acting as well.
There is a lot, and there's a lot of richness, and it's interesting you saying that, because in some of the research, when they compare how do people kind of heal from trauma or their lived experience, one of the things they talk about is faith. And one of the podcasts I've done recently is talking to someone who's a Buddhist, and they talk about kind of their journey and the way that they kind of look at life. And for you, coming from a Christian family and then doing and living the life that you've had and the experiences that you had, was there always a sense that you would come home to yourself or to your faith? Because not everyone's going to have faith as a guidance, as a barometer to kind of heal themselves or change the way that they are. What was it about your faith that helped you get to where you are?
Yeah, so I never stopped believing, even though I was in that sort of whirlwind of crime and drugs and sin and dirt. I never stopped believing. And I think, I know that God is with me, even though I sort of rejected him. Never, rejecting the term. Wasn't always praying. Wasn't practicing. Going to church and stuff like that. In that way. But he was always with me. Through mum's prayers, dad's prayers. Sorry, the freedom at church, their prayers, So all of that obviously helped, And then I used to get on my knees and full on cry. I'm a big man, but I'm like, wow, I've had enough of this. It's almost like I just came to the end of it all. I was like, look, there ain't no joy in this crying. There ain't no joy in these addictions. There ain't no joy. I used to flipping, walk into A&E at 2 a.m. with my suitcase, to sit down and wait for, the corridor into the mainframe of the hospital to be empty, and run through and literally sleep in the empty bed in the hospital. Literally look around, that ward's busy, literally in the darkness. And then, that's how bad it got in my addiction stage, You know what I mean? So I've been there and done it. And to be fair, I'm so glad now that, God has saved me. And that's why every day, I'm part of a gratitude list, and there's about 8 of us on it. And every morning we write down 10 things that we're grateful for. And, this morning I'm grateful that there's sun, there's seagulls, the seagulls. And, I'm grateful that I've got people that love me. And do you understand? Just even food and, food in your cupboard and money in your bank. Do you understand? Sometimes people don't realise, how lucky they really are. I'm telling you, and that's what I'm trying to say. When you really surrender to God, He will take you places that you wouldn't even believe was like.
So even if those people don't, I think even your story, because I think everyone's on their journey, and some will get there. Someone will say, "Okay, I believe in God," but you're working with lots of young people now that are on a journey themselves. How do you do your work? What does your organisation do? Why come out of the name? Because I think the name is a wonderful name, why are you doing the things that you're doing now?
All right. So I thought on my days, the amount of times, that I've been in the community and, and I laugh at it now. I'm not laughing at it to say it's funny. It's just where I'm now. All right, cool. So the amount of times that, I've been in the community growing up and I've, done this wrong, done that wrong, insurance prices have gone up, I'm sure, because I've nicked cars and all the rest of it, and I think, wow, it's about time I actually give something back, and I pray, Almighty God, use me as a vessel, just use me, dear Lord, please, I'm going to be your positive vessel. And I kid you not, oh mate, I just started going to local schools. It's quite funny, and I was just on the voluntary one and say, look, I've just got, this thing in me, right, where the kids hear it. What's this thing then? And one of the teachers, I met a teacher. I used to go to my local church, used to, because it's not the church that I go to now. Yeah, but it's still a church in my community where I live currently. So let me just tell you how it was. So I was going there. Sorry, I went around the houses there a little bit. So it was a Christmas do, and I was dressed up as the elf, and the pastor was the Santa. So I got to know a lot of the community. Anyway, there's a particular teacher there who ran an SEN school, special educational needs school, and basically what chat, and he said to me, "What do I do?" And at the time I was unemployed, but then I told him a bit about me. I said, "Look, obviously I've got mentoring skill behind me. That's the thing. Even though I've been a criminal and an addict, I've got so much qualification. I've done courses. I've had my own personal training business. Qualified PT." And nutritionist and anatomy, so I've done that for 5 years, and then worked for worked in hospitals, done so many things, but I kept falling off. It's not until I did the 12 steps course where I realized my addictive behaviors and I learned to control it, which is why now I feel in a good place, because now I understand why I did crime all that time. Now I understand why I went back to drugs all that time, so it taught me about myself and all behaviors and how to control it. Do you understand? So that's the beauty of it. All right. So I'm so sorry, this is part of my ADHD. You were asking about the metamorphosis business I'm talking about. So I'm so sorry for that.
I'm so enjoying what you're saying. So maybe I need to rein you in, but also I don't want to interrupt your flow, because I think your flow is really good, and I think so carry on. I
Yeah,
will
all right.
interject if you allow me.
Yeah. You pull up that handbrake if you need pulling up, right?
Yes.
All
I'll
right.
say
All right,
stop.
cool.
No, I wouldn't say that. Go on then. So what was you saying?
You
Oh,
paused me. You paused
no,
me.
I paused you.
See? Look at that. What? Right.
What
Yeah.
was you saying? You was kind
Yeah.
of saying in
Yeah,
terms
I
of
know who I am. Yeah. So how I became to get about metamorphosis. So I started going into schools with the knowledge I had gained, grammatically through school, through courses, and also lived experience of real life. I was literally going into school, knocking on the doors, talking to the head teacher, say, look, I believe, I could come in and teach the kids something about, self-respect and, how to not get involved in gang violence, how not to do drugs, and it grew. I'm telling, I kid you not, God. And imagine this. So the teacher came to me and she was like, what is it called? I said, what, the course? And I was put on the spot. Because normally I'm very just spontaneous and like that. And I was like, unlocking your superpowers. He just, that's a God shot, yeah. And she goes, wow. She goes, the kids were, and then you know what? No, I'm getting tingles because that just stuck with me, yeah. So my actual company is called Metamorphosis, which obviously means change, and then underneath it is called Unlocking Your Superpowers. How fitting is that? Metamorphosis, unlocking the superpowers. And I've actually designed 2 courses, which is just waiting to go through a company called CPD, which will then get accredited. And once it's accredited, then I can start facilitating that to different schools, prisons, colleges, and then the actual students get certification. Like it's going to be a course under my it's going to be my actual course anyway.
It sounds absolutely amazing, but the name is amazing as well. And but also the fact that you had the ingenuity on the spot to come up with something. It's almost like divine intervention, that it was the right time and the right moment with the right man.
But
because
you know what though? Sorry. No, listen, sorry to cut you. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, I will not change any of my old behaviors, because when I used to be a criminal and you get stopped by the police, you had to learn to think on your feet. When you was in Crown Court with 12 juries looking at you and you got a light at your teeth, you have to think on your feet. Otherwise, I start, where did you get that from? Right, you're nicked, So now, when it comes to business, I'm very almost cutthroat, because sometimes you have to wing it. Let's have it right. Sometimes there are sort of curveballs that people throw at you, and if you're stood there in front of 20 people, like Q&A time, you're like, I'll get back to you, mate. So let me ask Alexa. Do you understand? So because of that learned behavior from being a criminal, that's helped me. So that's come out, and then metamorphosis. So basically, I'm trying to say, as a caterpillar, they're very vulnerable. A caterpillar is very vulnerable. It can get picked up by any animal, correct? And then it goes into the chrysalis stage where it's protected. And then when it comes out of the chrysalis, it becomes a butterfly out into the big wide world. So my metamorphosis is showing the children, look, you're coming to me broken. A lot of them are broken. You're like caterpillar. You're vulnerable. You can get groomed by gangs, groomed by, unfortunately, pedophiles, groomed by, predators out there. Yeah. So you're a caterpillar potentially. And then boom, you come to metamorphosis. Yeah. We then put you in that chrysalis where we protect you. Protection meaning we give you the tools of life. Teach you how to find yourself, find your superpower, confidence, discipline, find out who you are as a person. So in that time there, you're getting protected now. I've got people doing, karate courses, personal training, hairdressing. Do you understand? So basically giving them the tools of life. Yeah.
So do you go into sorry.
Yeah.
So
that's all right.
I know you're on a river, so I do apologize. So do you go into schools then and deliver your programs? And do you offer a bespoke program, or is it the Metamorphosis kind of program, the 2 courses that you've designed? Are they targeted at young boys or young girls, or is it anyone could be part of it? Is it a specific age group that you're looking and tapping into?
No, so I done adult prison, all right, HMP Aylesbury. So we're talking Harden Cons from 18. Oldest guy there was 60 something, So basically, I've got different. There are bespoke programs or speeches or seminars that I'm giving out. Okay, so for the prisoners, it was more hard, it was more gritty to show them that, look, I've done 6.5 years in jail. This ain't a life, and there is life out there. There is a positive road that you can take, all right? So when I'm doing schools, SEN schools and, year 6, which is like 10 to 12-year-olds, all right, I water it down, but that's more about gang violence, that's more about, them smoking vapes and saying that could be a catalyst to marijuana to then hard drugs, So I have so many different courses for different sort of horses, so to speak. And then the college ones, that's more young adults. So then, I can turn it again, do you understand? So, there are different courses, but then at the same time, I've been asked to go and do a diversity and racism one in 2 weeks' time. So then I have to go to the drawing board, and I've got about 50 people on board. When I say 50, not 50 paid people, but I've got a WhatsApp group with 50 professionals, all right? So I've got covering addicts, I've got finance schools, HR specialists, health and well-being, holistic people, do you understand? And it's the love I've got, I've got YouTube influencers, like for the girls, to sort of like, who are not maybe confident, I've got LGBT.
The metamorphosis is not only just a kind of an opportunity for young people to learn skills and to kind of it's a balance between it's a really growth. It feels like positive psychology, a growth mindset, but it's also the network around it. So systemically, you've got people around it who share your same core values and beliefs in supporting young people in that transitioning. Because I used to be a youth worker, and a connections worker back in the day, and before I was a therapist. And so I worked with young people in care and kind of on the transition, not in education, employment and training. And it's really interesting because at the moment, since COVID, you're seeing really vulnerable young people, aren't they? They're really struggling at the moment in a way that I don't remember struggling. I'm older than you. And I don't remember feeling the way young people are feeling at this moment in time. How do you think, how do you think your course will help them navigate those complexities, like, I suppose, like the, young men and having to navigate their own masculinity, young women, navigating kind of like social media, both of them, and all those things that come up when you're transitioning.
Right. Yeah, I love that, because this is what I'm trying to say about God's plan. I'm literally going into town or going to gym, and I'm bumping into people, literally people I do not know. When I say bumping into people, like one guy, I literally, we just looked at each other and go, they were just something, they got talking. Now he's my head of IT, cyber security. So he's teaching kids about, not just is he a whiz kid at doing IT, but he's teaching kids about social media, when you're posting certain things, backgrounds, predators look at backgrounds, road signs, and so he can come on board and teach them about that. A girl that had no confidence, she was mute. I used to personal trainer. She used to say 1 or 2 words. Now, her confidence is booming. Now she's come out as a lesbian, but she's got so much knowledge behind that. So I got her on board for the kids growing up who can't identify as a certain whatever it might be. I went to get a tattoo. I got loads of tattoos. I'm very creative in that, but I went to get a tattoo. Done the other day. Got a chat to the guy doing that. He's a gay guy. And, next meeting, he's going to come on board. So what I'm trying to say is, God is I'm not even joking to you. It's not even magic. God is putting these people in place. The people that, like my website designer, I met him at church. He's also doing my book for me, and he doesn't want a penny, even though I will be getting paid. This is how beautiful it is. People can feel my passion. That's why when I get in a role like this, you do have to stop sometimes, because people can feel that it's not no joke thing. Like, it's not no, yes, it is good money. Like, come on, the police are paying me good money because it's going back into the community, and a lot of it is from criminal money anyway, what they're giving. When criminals get caught. Primarily, I was doing all this for about 6 months voluntary. I was on job seekers allowance, going to food banks, but doing all these talks and all the rest of it, NA, Narcotics Anonymous, and being a mentor and helping others. It was all, I was on like £300 a month. You know what I mean? But obviously, a bit more because they pay my rent. But now, I'm happy because money's coming in and I can start to do a lot more. But what I'm trying to say is that God will give you these not even riches, because one say that, give you blessings, Can
I just ask you something in a sense? Because I'm listening to your passion and your beliefs, and what's really clear is that you're really focused, that once you kind of found your passion, it feels like you found your passion, and it connects to you on a personal level, but it connects to maybe what you believe in your spiritual and your faith. Who looks after you? Because I can see like there's all this energy going outwards, to the community and to others. Who looks after you? How do you go inwards and just kind of find yourself within?
I like it. Yeah, see, I'm a very sociable cat, but then I do like my me time. So me time, I've got my own gaff and it's all nice. Got my little boys' toys there, and I will literally pray every morning, which I do, and then I spend about 15 minutes in the shower. That's my meditation time. Just warm water, and I'm just literally soaked. It's lovely to sit there and have all these thoughts going through my head. I've always got my pen and paper to do list, and I'm writing things down. But yeah, primarily it's normally me by myself, or at least, I don't know, I can spend a lot of time by myself. Once, in the morning I do about 2-3 hours. I wake up 5:30 in the morning, normally go gym, and then come back and relax up, and then you go to work, and then come back and relax up again. So answering your question, obviously you have to look after you, but then you know what? I've got a very strong network of family who I can call anytime, mum and dad, and I still got my brothers, my sisters. Just met a really, really lovely lady who does holistic and art therapy. She can water me. It's amazing. She can feel sometimes, I'm trying to really get out there, but then she's she'll bring me back in, and mum's got a very good way of doing that, and dad. So yeah, answering your question, now that I got it out, yeah, primarily it's me. I'm looking after myself, shower time, prayer time, gym time. I don't watch movies and that really. It's more like documentaries, but whatever. It's my family and my missus, to be fair. Yeah.
What would you want young people to learn, or people who don't know you? I can imagine that they're just drawn by you because you just got amazing energy. What do you want them to understand about who you are, the work that you do, your belief systems? What do you want them to take away from this podcast, do you think?
It's quite easy, actually. The fact that you should always have self-love and self-belief. Never, ever give up on yourself. Don't let anyone, make your vertebrae curve. Don't let no one sort of like break you down, because what they're doing, they're pulling you down. You want to be with people that are pushing you up, people that are going to water your seed and make you flourish. That's the people you have to be beside. You have to understand salty and sweet. Salt and sweet, sugar and salt, they look the same granules, but one tastes better, one tastes sweet. It's for you to realize who is sweet in your life, who is bitter in your life. You have to be selfish first of all. You have to look after number one. But once you found number one, you know yourself. I know I'm going on, sorry, so let me wrap it up. So number one, be selfish, find yourself. Once you find yourself, you have to love yourself, have that self-belief, and then you go out there. And it takes motivation, discipline, and consistency, all right, to do whatever you're doing. In that time there, you'll be so solid that you will know the sugary people in your life and the salty people, And then what do? You stay with the sugar, You stay where the road is sweet, okay? And then you will also learn how to know who are the pullers pulling you down and who are the pushers pushing you up. So once you fly with eagles, you will always be up. Can look down. It's not to say that you're arrogant or better than people, but why are you going to stand on the floor picking peanuts when you hardly ever look up? You have to look up, and do you understand? You have to be up here with the eagles, and I'm just happy and just free. So I can do it.
My last question to you: how does anyone start? Because I think I work, as a therapist, and some of it is that people really struggle to know how to start. They know what they want, or sometimes they don't know what they want, or that taking that first step, they find it really difficult to be able to do that, to kind of give up either the drugs or give up whatever it is that's ailing them, whether it's their thought process. How do you invite some people to start the journey of trains and to metamorphose Don't know if that's the right word.
Young lady, can we get the
I
pronunciation
know, I can't get
correctly?
it out. So what do you think?
Very correct.
I know, I've got it all stuck.
I'm joking.
What do you think?
It's a bit of a mouthful.
What do you think they need to do? What would your advice be?
Simply, you need to come to someone. Yeah, I can't force nobody. See, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna say, see that kid in the back of the class and be like, right, he's the one that's struggling, and drag him on board, because you have to be ready first of all. All right. If you're not ready, there's no point in me teaching you. Do you understand? There's no point, anyone getting taught anything if not ready. So, all right, let me answer it. So, you have to feel ready to change. Yeah. You have to know that, something is going on and you're not happy. All right. When you can feel that feeling, this is what I say to the kids. I say, look, Tommy, if you said you want to be Batman and not your superpowers, but how are you going to be Batman if you're going to sit there? You have to be ready and want to come towards that person going to help you. You have to come towards Alfred. Alfred helped Batman to become. Do you understand? I've got quick lingo to turn it around for them. But anyway, let me answer your question. I'm so sorry, Cornetta. They have to feel ready, first of all right? And then once they're ready, all right, come on board, and then we'll start to pick away. We'll be like, so what do you like doing? What's your hobbies? What sort of mates do you have? Like, what's your mates do? I mean, what do you do after school? Okay, so what does mum and dad do? And then once you've got a big list of things, then you start thinking, right, so that's all right, and you connect the dots, and okay, boom, and it's very easy with kids to do that. Then, I'd say the harder ones are the teenagers who are already affiliated in gangs, and then that's when I take out my scars, my war wounds, and I say, look, mate, I said, I died once. I could do a movie on my life, but I showed a story. I died once, and when I was in prison, I saw a guy get raped and guy get hot oiled over his face peeled off. I said, do you really want to see that? And then I've got people working ready on standby who work in prisons. That's the beauty of my metamorphosis. I've got police there. I've got flipping, prison officers that will come on board and do talks. I want to come to one of my seminars, because it's amazing the feedback, the people I've got there. I need another launch night where everyone can just be present. But anyway, so answering your question, they have to feel ready and connect up. And then once they're ready, then we will ask them the correct question, and then we start picking away, and then we can change. And I was on the point about teenagers. Sometimes they're harder, but then that's when I start hitting them with horror stories. When they hear certain horror stories, that's when then the young adults, they're more the addicted ones. So that's when we bring NA into it in 12 steps. So that's a bit easier. But again, you have to be ready. You have to be ready, because the amount of times, Dad said, right, boy, may I give you 10, 20 pounds for setting your own business? And even that wouldn't help me at the time, because I was still addicted. Mum said, son, come with me. I'm going to get you a place in London. I've done the geographical thing. I've lived Milton Keynes, Derby, Reading, Bedford, London, on Oxford, Birmingham, I said that Aylesbury, I've done the geographical in our work. You have to be ready, and it's only then that the doors will start opening, and they're opening now as we're speaking. So that's what it is. And can I just finish off as well, please? I did I acted in a Bollywood movie. Which is out in Indian theatres and coming on social media soon, called Mystery of the Tattoo. That is what that's what I try to say to the kids. I say, look, all these opportunities would not have come up if you're in gloom, if you're in that sort of like simple world.
Absolutely. I'm listening to you, and I recognize what an amazing journey that you've had so far. But I also recognize that actually you made it happen yourself as well, because had you not been ready, you would have taken up those opportunities to kind of flourish and grow. And I think it's in that readiness, working with you at that point of where you were at, is enabled you to take the opportunities that happen. And then there's something about what you're saying is like saying yes to the universe, I call it. I say the universe is kind and gracious. And that, for me, that means, that actually when I'm in a positive mindset and I'm surrounded by really good people, good things often happen. Bad things can also happen, but I'm prepared to be able to embrace them all. And it sounds to me, Matty, you have embraced them all. Where can people find you? How can organizations get hold of you? where can we get you?
All right, Cornetta. Oh my days. All right. So my website is getting set up, currently. Okay, so the website is up and running. However, I do have a website address, but there's no point giving that out at present because it's not actually set up. I do have a business secure domain email, but again, that's getting set up in line with the actual website. So I don't mind people throwing in. I've got 2 numbers. Well, obviously one's private, like family, friends. I've got one for the business, so I can give out that number, or I can give my email at the moment, which is my personal email. I don't mind, because if someone's gonna be genuine to want to get hold of me or genuine to maybe collaborate, they're not going to send a silly text or a silly email. So I could. What, do you want me to read it out, or do you want?
No, I can take it. I can. If you send it to me, then I can just put it on the platform and make sure
on the bio,
that, everything is there and ready. Thank you, Matty, for agreeing to talk to me on being curious, and I'm really appreciative and extremely curious as to all the bits that I don't know about you, that and all the things that will potentially happen for you in the future. I really appreciate that you gave your time today and sat down with me, and really, I think you're an inspiration. And I think
Thank you.
A life story isn't a straight road that goes straight up the hill. It does have its up and downs and different junctions and setbacks, and it really I really kind of sense from you. But not only are you a role model for yourself, I think other young people or people who are struggling out there who want to change their life and may not have gone down the road that you have gone down, but want to do something simple or similar or different. I think they can take a lot from having this conversation. So thank you.